Hello, well, before we have a look at the forecast for what's coming up, I thought we'd take a quick look at what has been happening over the last week or so. This is our 7-day accumulated rainfall chart showing how much rain there has been, picking out those classic western spots on the western side of the South Island there. It's been raining there pretty much every day so far in September. And you can see that on the North Island, those red spots picking out the Central Plateau and Taranaki Mongo. But one of the most interesting places is this wetter weather down south through parts of Southland. Now, some of these areas have seen almost twice their monthly rainfall already this month. Places like Lumsden, 130 millimetres of rainfall seen so far this September, compared to an average of around about 66 millimetres you normally expect for September. So a very wet story. And that's had a big impact on our soil moisture as well. These charts show how much moisture there is. Those green colours that shown way more than you'd normally expect in the field capacity. So already very saturated conditions through there. So you can see it's been a really wet start to September, especially across those southern areas of the country. Now, as we head through in towards the next few days, we're going to be finding a lot of our weather is dominated by those westerlies. As we go through the rest of this afternoon, more showers and thunderstorms to come through for those western parts of both islands, actually. But I think we have got more of those to come. As we head in towards the evening time, we'll start to find things settling down across the North Island. As a bit of a ridge of a higher pressure begins to edge closer towards us. It does mean for Saturday, things generally are looking drier and clearer for many parts of the North Island and for most of the South Island as well. But you can see we've got these next fronts running through the Tasman Sea, pushing towards those western hills. So for places like Westland, we're still looking at more wet weather to come. And I think some of that is still going to be quite heavy, not quite enough to issue watches and warnings. We've got some slightly higher thresholds for those areas on the western coast. But it is, I think, going to be a wet story, a continuation of that westerly feed of air. But for many of us on Saturday, drier and I think plenty of clear sky, especially across the North Island. As we head in towards Sunday, this front continues to move northwards, bringing with it the risk of perhaps some heavy thundery falls across those western areas once again, a fairly classic east-west split. But you can see on the eastern side of the country, things generally looking a little bit drier. But another front runs back towards us as we head through in towards Monday. But this feature will hopefully, I think, keep any activity away towards the north. So we will find again more showers around those western parts of the South Island. Really, the front starts to weaken away as it heads northwards. An area of higher pressure starting to build across the likes of the Tasman Sea there. But you can see a bit of a broken record here. On Monday evening, another front edges closer towards that far southwestern corner. More of those northwesterly winds bringing yet more rainfall on towards that western coast of the South Island. Edges northwards as we head through Tuesday, opening the door for that southwesterly wind to push up towards us. But this developing area of high pressure building across us for Tuesday next week, a bit of a glimmer of hope in terms of drier weather and a bit more in the way of settled weather back across the majority of New Zealand. Still some pretty strong southwesterly winds out towards the Chatham Islands, so watch out for those. But I think generally as we head through in towards Tuesday, perhaps Wednesday, that high pressure sticking with us. But in terms of rainfall though, over the next few days or so through to about Monday night time, you can see we have that dominant westerly pattern. Still more wet weather through places like Waikato, Waitomo. Places like Palmerston North, you've had a fair dollop of rain over the last few days or so. Again, with that rainfall coming in from the west, been driving those showers. We had a line of very narrow but pretty intense thunderstorms running through there in the Manawatu Gorge. So we've got more wet weather on those western facing areas through there. But you can see places like the far southern coast of Wellington, through Wairarapa up and towards Hawke's Bay. Generally, things are looking relatively dry as we head through the weekend. That east-west split is still with us across the South Island. These are pretty high totals across the likes of Western, building on top of that wet weather we've already had, filling towards those rivers as well. So something to watch out for through there. Keep an eye on our severe weather watches and warnings. There may be a few of those issued as we head through the weekend, but at the moment it is just looking like a wet old story. And some of that wet weather will make its way towards Southland and Otago, particularly as we head through the afternoon on Friday. But I think for the majority of the next few days, it's that east-west split. And if you're in places like Canterbury or even up in towards Marlborough, particularly places like that Kaikoura side of Marlborough, you should find it stays relatively dry as well. As we go through in towards the next few days, we'll still find there's those colder spells with us. Temperatures over the South Island over the next few nights still down to below freezing in a few of those areas. But we will start to find, as we head in towards next week, some slightly warmer air edging closer towards us. But I think it's still going to be a very close one, I think, as this air is still being driven up from time to time, especially as we head in towards Tuesday from the southwest. So perhaps another cold spell just through there. But you can start to see that warmer air, those oranges and yellows just edging closer towards us as we head in towards Wednesday and perhaps Thursday. So in terms of our weather over the next few days, well, Sunday we keep hold of more showers, particularly across those western parts of the North Island, places like Waikato, Waitomo, Taranaki and down towards Manawatu. So we have got the risk of some wetter weather there. So perhaps again, still with that risk of one or two sharp thundery showers not out of the question. Worth keeping an eye on the forecast there. Generally looking a little bit drier on the North Island as we head in towards Monday. Still a few showers pushing up from towards the far southern areas. And I think in towards Tuesday we'll start to find perhaps again a few showers in towards those western areas. Still relatively dry though out towards the east, places like Napier. And with our winds mainly being that northwester, back to those warm temperatures as well, 22 degrees Celsius. Down on towards the south island again, we'll keep a close eye on Sunday with that risk of some of those showers making their way even in towards parts of Marlborough, more likely around the western areas, but I think we have the risk of some showers through there, then generally drier. And as we head through in towards the start of next week, hopefully we'll start to find some of that drier air back towards us on Tuesday, with things being a bit drier, but still more showers to come through Southland for you. And temperatures 12 degrees Celsius on Tuesday, so a bit of a cooler feel there with that southwesterly pushing in towards Invercargill. As we head in towards the next few days, there's that high pressure Tuesday, Wednesday. Short-lived, another cold front runs in towards us. That low pressure slides just down towards the south. It's this next area of high pressure we're pinning our hopes on as we head in towards, let's say, the end of next week. Building across us, again, it does direct a pretty good southwesterly across us to start with through, say, Friday, Saturday. But look at that. The current forecast for Saturday, Sunday, higher pressure become more of a dominant force across us, hopefully keeping things a little bit more settled. We've seen this before. It's always worth taking these longer range charts with a pinch of salt. But a bit of a promising proposition as we head towards the end of next week. Well worth keeping up to date with the forecast. As ever, you can find all of that information over at metservice.com.